Hello, welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and today what I'm going to be doing is showing you some different methods of making some fabulous coasters. And these are going to be on a Valentine's theme after one of my wonderful members and somebody that buys me a coffee every month, so I can't tell you how much I appreciate them, called Mrs. Wang. What I'm going to be doing is some different techniques. I'm also going to be using some stickers that I've made, and I just made these on my Cricut. But if you haven't got a Cricut, then you can buy simple stickers or you can buy some stencils, and I have got a video on how to use stencils in resin, and I'll link that at the end of this video. And everything else that I use today, I'll link in the description below. What I am going to do is paint these two wooden coasters, and all I'm going to be using for painting those with is some iridescent paints, and I'm going to be using, for a change, I don't use this colour very often, Playful Pink, and that will transfer onto there lovely. While the painted wooden ones are drying, what I'm doing is I'm just adding about halfway up these moulds of some clear resin ready to put the transfers and stickers on. These are all cured up now and ready for the next stage. And what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using some of the stickers that I made with the Cricut, but I'm also going to be using this, which is brown paper, but it has a sticky side to it. So this side is sticky, and it's just sticky enough to be able to give you quite a nice seal on your coasters or on your resin or anything like that. And what you can do is you can draw on it. So for instance, if I wanted to do a heart on one of these, then I could just draw out a little heart and then cut that out, which is what I'm going to do using just a simple blade. And this is a really easy way to make some simple and very useful stencil. And then if you take that bit up like that, then you have a little stencil of a heart. Let's make it a bit smaller. And this stuff's really, really cheap. I use it quite a lot. In fact, I've made some stencils with it on my other channel. I'll link those at the end of this. And then if you want to put that heart in the middle of something, or as near to the middle as possible, then stick that down all the way around. Then you can use whatever you want to use in the middle there. What I'm going to use is some glitter on this one. As you know, I like to stick my glitter down using gilding glue because I find it gives it a really good stick. It does take about 5-10 minutes for the gilding glue to dry up, but it will cause the glitter to stick to it nicely. And all I do is just take a dry brush like that, a little bit of this glue, and then if you go around it, paint that on. And the great thing about this glue is it stays really nice and tacky once it's dry, and the glitter will stick to it amazingly. So this large one, I want to put this sticker in it because it's nice and clear, and I think this sticker's going to look good on this large one. I'll go around it with my fingers to make sure that's down, and it is down nicely. And then I'm going to put the word love above that as well. It is Valentine's after all. We've got love and we've got that nice cutout there. I also want to do some with gold leaf heart in the middle. And so I'm going to be using this one. I really like the colour that's there. So I want to gold leaf this. So again, exactly the same method using the gold leaf glue. But first of all, I'm going to put this down, this transfer. Now this is permanent vinyl, but I should be able to get that off once it's dry and be left with a nice gold leaf heart. Prepping this up in the same way using the gold leaf glue. And I really like this one. That love is going to go in the middle of these. That dried nicely, the paint on there, and it's got a lovely shimmery effect. I went over it with one of the dragonfly paints because I thought that would make it look even more shimmery. Let's make sure that that's down properly everywhere. Oh, love, look. When the moon hits the sky like a big pizza pie, that's amore. And then on the other wooden one, the big heart, I think, on that one. And then I'm going to put some glitter around the edges of this one, again using the gold leaf glue, so it's in kind of a relief for this one. Now if you don't want to use, actually I might use mica powder on this one and show you what it looks like with mica powder on as opposed to glitter, because you can use mica powder on these to do that relief as well once this glue is dry. It is a little bit more messy, but it gives a lovely effect. Make sure you get everywhere because the mica powder and or glitter will only stick to wherever your glue is. And then these two I've saved for these because I think they're cute and fun. So they're all done. But the ones that I painted with the glue are now dry enough to be able to put on the either mica powder, glitter, or the gold leaf. So the first one I'm going to do is this one with the mica powder. You will have to do a second stage to this before you can pour your resin over it, because if not, the mica powder will bleed a little bit. Now, you can have it like dotty like this, that I've done it, or you can have it so it's completely covered. And I'm going to have it so it's completely covered. What I will use to brush that over with is one of my little makeup brushes, one of the little soft makeup brushes, and that will just brush on there nicely. And then any of the spare mica powder that I've got, brush onto this piece of card, and then I can just use it again. Well, now that one's all dry, what I'm going to do is remove the piece of vinyl here. I've used permanent vinyl, but really you'd be better off to use non-permanent vinyl, but I didn't have any. So what I'm going to do is just heat that vinyl up a little bit using my hairdryer. That should warm the glue up that's underneath it, and then it should allow me to take off that vinyl nice and easily. And it should just leave behind the heart shape. There we are. Now, if you run your finger over this, you will get a little bit of mica powder that's on the surface come on your finger. Not a lot, look. It's not a great deal. But what I like to do is, before I go ahead and then put resin on that, I'll give it a very light spray with a sealer. That sealer will stop that mica powder from bleeding into the resin. That sealer's drying, we can just get on with the other ones. And this is the one that I'm going to use a little bit of gold leaf on. And the gold leaf will just stick lovely to that. Now, it does stick to the resin quite well, so try and avoid getting it on the resin as best as possible, because if not, it is a nuisance to try and get off, because the static of the resin keeps it kind of stuck to it. But you can get it off, and I'm just using another one of my makeup brushes here to push that nicely onto there. Give that a bit of a buff up, make sure it's nice and adhered to the glue. Oh, I think that looks very pretty. Tidy up my gold leaf. And this one's going to be glitter, perhaps a nice silver. And that'll just be a case of putting the glitter all the way around. Now with glitter, I push it down once it's on there to make sure it's nicely stuck in. I just go around with my finger. This is the fine glitter I'm using, and that you'll find will help to keep that glitter nicely stuck in there all the way around. And then I just tap it out on a piece of card. Give it a good blow, and that glitter will be stuck in there now. Lovely. And again, I'll remove that in the same way. And this one's going to be a glitter one, but different colour glitter. And I will be doing that in exactly the same way as I did that one, but I'm going to be using a more chunky glitter for this. So this chunky blue. Now I'm going to clear up the edges, get rid of as much glitter as I possibly can that's loose before I pull this off. Well, this one should come off fairly easily. It's a very light tack tape, but what I do want to do is not pull it off too quickly, because I don't want to dislodge any of the glitter that might be on the actual tape itself, and then end up having to try and get it off the rest of the resin thing. So there's a little heart that's on there, and that's ready for its next stage. I'm just adding the coloured resin to the backs of these and allowing that to spread out, and that will allow those pictures to really pop and burst in any of the bubbles that have come up from that. And now adding the clear resin over the tops of the ones that I've done glitter and gold leaf to, and these stickers, because that will really seal them in lovely and magnify them, and doming these ones. These are all cured up now, lovely. And now is the fun part. They're the two that only had the dome put on them, and I think they come out really well. I love them. It's such a simple technique, but it gives some really great results. The gold leaf one, I loved gold leaf, and that is, I'm sure, come out really, really well. I like the little pattern on the back of that particular coaster. Not sure what pattern it is or what it's meant to be, but I'm sure people out there will know. And the heart has come out lovely and sits on there really, really well. These are the winking ones, and I think they've come out really well. There should be a pair of those. There we go. There's a pair of those. Little winky one. And the love one for that clear one, I think has come out brilliant too. I do think though it would be nice if I'd have put a darker colour underneath, but I do quite like the clear. The glitter, oh, this mould's getting a bit past it now. Again, lovely and sparkle that side, and the heart is visible there, and the glittery one there as well. With any coasters, what's really important is not to use them for hot drinks until they've been curing for about 4 weeks, and then they should take a nice hot cup of tea. But you need to leave them for 4 weeks to enable them to fully cure and get really, really hard. Hopefully, Mrs. Wang, this video lived up to your expectations and you've enjoyed it. Please boop that like button if you've enjoyed this video, and leave me a comment below to let me know what sort of things you're doing for Valentine's. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and check out the video that I've got coming up the end here as well. I think you'll find that really useful if you want to learn more about making coasters. Take care, enjoy your resin. Bye.